Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Nintendo Review Podcast. I'm sorry, the reason I'm laughing is because this is actually take 3, because I wasn't recording, I didn't have my headphones in, I've been an absolute disaster, Greg is not here, and the whole podcast falls apart.
I blame Greg.
Yeah, it's just me, yeah, exactly, yeah. This is the first one he's missed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It is, this is what happens, absolute disaster. But I think we're recording, we're on, let's go again. And yeah, as always, I'm with Lee, because Lee's always here, dedicated Lee. Lee, how's your week been?
Not bad, actually. We've had lovely weather, because you must be getting a bit cold over there now, is it, Darren?
Freezing, absolutely freezing.
We're still in the 20s, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
I'm still walking to work in the morning in a t-shirt.
Really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Although we did have a day in October, which was people were sunbathing in, and which, you know, is a good thing. But actually, you think about it and you're like, that is terrifying. But it's like that all the time in Taiwan. And did you get like sorry for my ignorance, but do you get a winter?
We do get a winter, and the seasons change very rapidly, but there's no spring, no fall, so autumn. So it changes extremely quickly. Normally late November, it'll get, we say very cold. It'll be in the double digits, but it'll be, 10, minimum of 10. But because there's such a change from the normal high 20s, 30s, what it is for the rest of the year, you get the same problems as in England. There's no central heating here, because you don't need it, because it's such a short winter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then old people are dying because of the cold. And you wouldn't think, it's not that cold. But after being here for 12 years, it is cold.
Like relatively, you kind of readjust to the Taiwan apocalypse, which is 10-degree winters. Yeah, Greg obviously isn't with us, as we said. He's having a baby, so we wish him and his partner all the luck. Hopefully we'll have his new arrival next week. Yoshi, he's going to be called, so we're very excited about introducing Yoshi to the world. Or Yoshi. Do you say Yoshi or Yoshi?
I've always said Yoshi.
Same, yeah. Same.
Good, man.
I think it's Yoshi, but stuff it. We had a big Smash Direct. We're going to chat about that later. We predicted things pretty terribly overall, but we'll chat about that later. But first, we're going to get into the news. As always, we're going to start off with like some kind of relative new titles coming to the Switch, and the first one is Hamster. They do this. They basically pre-announced like the wave of their games that they're going to come to the Switch, and then they kind of roll them out, which is good. And they've just announced their next batch, which includes Puzzle Bobble 2, Thrash Rally, Stakes Winner 2, King of the Monsters 2, Neo Geo Cup 98, The Road to Victory, and Twinkle Star Sprites. Have you got many of these Hamster? No, not these specifically, but do you get like the Arcade Archives and the Neo Geo games from Hamster? Have you got any of them?
I've only got the one, and it's the first Metal Slug game. But I was looking forward. Yeah. If it's ever in a sale, I'd probably get the third one as well. My son has loved the first Metal Slug game, and it's one of those games like the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle where you can just throw credits at it, so you can play from one end of the game to the other, because it's virtually impossible, as you know. It's one of those quarter munchers that you die every few seconds, especially towards the end of the game. But that Puzzle Bobble, one of those Buster Move games we call them over here, don't we? Those
exactly.
Always interest my wife as well, so possibility one or two, I don't know which one.
I've got quite a few of these. I'd get more. They're one of those ones where they're not essential, but if they ever like if Hamster ever did a massive sale and each one was a couple of quid, I reckon I'd pick up loads of them. Yeah, but Puzzle Bobble is great. Like Buster Move is a great series. Weird that they bring 1 and 2. You always just think, why release them both at the same time? It's like release Puzzle Bobble 6 months ago and then Puzzle Bobble 2 6 months later. But they do this quite a lot. They did like release all like the King of Fighters and just like one after another.
Yeah, every week there were 2 or 3 King of Fighters games. Yeah.
But whatever. I think they're really really great games, and I love the fact that they're kind of releasing all these. In sort of on similar news actually is SNK. Obviously the 40th anniversary collection is coming out next week. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to get it. But I don't know if you know how they're working it. So basically, at launch, it's like 11 games, I think, 11 or 13. And then there's either 11 or 13. They're the two numbers, but then they're releasing the rest as DLC and packs afterwards. So when all said and done, there'll be like 24 games. So, which I think is great. It's a bit of a weird strategy. I'm not too bothered. And they've just announced the final load of games, which is Bermuda Triangle, which I have incredible memories of on the NES. I don't know if you ever played that on the NES. It's a speedboat game.
Yeah, speedboat game. Yes, I got good memories of it myself. Now you brought it up. Yes.
Yeah, very excited about that. Paddle Mania, ZMA Wars, Beast Busters, Search and Rescue, World Wars. A lot of like their games. I don't know if you've seen the full list, but like half of them I've heard of and played. Half of them I've never heard of. So like we said about Hamster, I love this kind of retro wave, and I'm kind of all in. Are you tempted by the SNK collection?
Not at the price they're asking for at the moment. I don't think there's enough on there that I'm familiar with to tempt me. More tempting would be that Sega Mega Drive Classics one, and Greg has said something about the emulation might not be up to scratch on that, so I think I'll wait on that as well.
Well, it was fine on that the PS4 version and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything. I don't fully know what he's on about. I think there'll probably be a couple of bits that are a bit wangy. I think on this SNK is the same thing. There's some of the emulation's a bit warpy, but they've said that in past. I don't know how much you kind of care about the technical aspects of stuff. It's just like they're quite marginal things, the kind of small imperfections. I don't care about stuff like that.
That wouldn't bother me either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's what it's talking about. But this is similar. But it sounds amazing because it's got stuff like if there was an arcade version and then say a NES version, it's got both versions of the games on there.
Yeah,
which is
on
brilliant.
the SNK ones. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the SNK ones, and they've got stuff, really, really massive sort of kind of galleries and things like that, and original artwork, and they've got a SNK timeline of every single game they released from the 70s and stuff like that. It sounds great. 25 quid I've found it for, so I'm looking forward to that next week. Big week next week. Pokemon. Are you getting Pokemon?
No. I'm gonna sit it out. And I know you've been talking about it on Discord because of your son and all that. You're getting him into Pokemon Go. My son's not ready for it. And I'm quite surprised at the amount of work for school my son has got at the moment. And it's kind of removed him from our 2-player sessions, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fair enough. So, but would you reckon, because it's a 2-player game, would he normally be up for playing it together with you? And
yes, he would. Maybe not Pokemon so much, but if he saw me playing it and he had time, and he would jump in. Yeah.
You probably okay. Fair enough. Well, that's fair enough. I mean, we may as well jump onto that actually, because obviously, it's coming out next week alongside SNK and Civ 6. I'm very excited about that. Please be good, port. And then I'm getting that. So Pokemon's coming out next week. The Pokeball controller that you can play one-handed and stuff. They've just announced that works like the Pokemon Go Plus accessory. I don't know if you remember, they released that a couple of years ago.
Yes.
I mean, it automatically collects stuff from Pokestops and stuff like that. So it acts as one of them, which I think is pretty good. And they've also announced it's not working with the Pro controller.
Not unexpected, though. And do you know when we were talking about the Switch Pro, we had a little episode on the Switch Pro, and I said, possibly, they're going to fuse the controllers into one unit. This kind of really makes me think now that's not going to happen. They are utilising the single Joy-Con in so many games. I know it's only Pokemon and even Mario Tennis in the swing mode. What's
Mario Party?
Mario Party. It's an unlikely thing that they're going to do that. Yeah, the Joy-Con or nothing, isn't it? But what it doesn't need anything else, does it? It's move with one stick and it's one button.
Yeah, and then obviously the motion, the throwing motion to capture the things. It's not surprising. It sounds like it can be done with the Pro controller though. That's got motion in it.
It's got motion in it. You could flick it forward.
It's not ideal, but why not? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess their thinking is the Switch always comes with 2 controllers, so for 2 players you only need one of them, so you can sort of get it, but I don't know, a bit weird. Yeah, so back to like other games that are kind of maybe coming out, and we always like these developers kind of bigging up the Switch and stuff. The Virtuos, who have just released Dark Souls Remastered, which is meant to be an amazing port. They also did Starlink and LA Noire. They've said that they're working on stuff. They obviously can't say what, and they're going to announce it very soon. That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Well, LA Noire, correct me if I'm wrong, is a Rockstar game, isn't it?
I know what you're thinking.
And
it is.
For someone to come out and they quoted saying, we will definitely have some exciting high-profile Switch games, in the plural as well, coming out very soon. That's, it's GTA, isn't it?
Well, I never actually thought of that. I just thought Dark Souls 2.
Possibly, yeah. And then Dark Souls 3 downgrade now.
3. Who knows? Depends how well they sell. Yeah, don't know. It could be anything. Could be a remaster of Bully or Red Dead 1. Or
Red Dead 1 is a possibility, yeah.
But I guess the natural thing is to presume that they'll be working with the same companies, in effect, and working on their back catalogue.
Yeah.
But either way, so good news. Can't wait to find out what they are. I hope they actually are exciting, high-profile Switch games, and not like what Shin'en did. It was like, we've got a game coming out, we're going to announce a big game. The game we've released on every platform for the past 5 years.
Balance.
Out of balance, yeah, exactly. And the last new thing that looks to be coming out tomorrow is the big rumour, is YouTube. Well, where did this rumour come from?
Oh, now you throw me. I was going to follow it up by saying that someone has also... I've heard the YouTube rumour from every single website. And fair play, every single website has gone, this is a rumour. I can't even remember where the original rumour came from. But then someone said, there's a good possibility there'll be a Nintendo Direct tomorrow, which is looking less and less likely. But they thought that it'd be a Nintendo Direct because YouTube, the app, will be mentioned in that Direct as, hey, you can download it from the website directly after this Direct.
Okay, yeah. In our notes, it says the Nintendo website indicated it, but the page is currently inaccessible.
Yes, you're right. Yes, it was the website itself. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We don't really know anything about it. Do you care? Are you going to download this?
I think it's handy. It's handy to have on there. I use YouTube for our hey, here's a nice little plug for our channel mostly. But my son also uses it on his slightly defective, because it's old, Asus tablet. I'm so out of English pronunciation and words now. So he uses his YouTube app on the tablet, and it's a bit janky. So yeah, he could do the new system to use it on, and the Switch will step up nicely if it's true.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm not that interested. I still sort of wish there was a specific video toggle or tab. I still don't like the idea of these being icons like the games, but
yeah, like right down the bottom, like the old Wii channels. Yeah.
Or even just have like media, and that's where like your photos and videos are, and where video apps are, if you want to not have too many icons. I don't know. The whole OS needs a bit of a revamp, to be honest. I still can't believe, like, over 18 months later, it's exactly the same.
Do you know, I had the problem the other day. I was trying to find... Let's have a quick game of, for example, Mario Tennis. I couldn't find Mario Tennis because there's just so many icons on my home menu.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll come. Yeah. It'll come, but I thought it'd happen a lot sooner. And yeah, just a couple of more bits of news. Obviously, last week we chatted about Diablo 3 coming out, and that there was the amiibo in the menus, and people were saying there's an amiibo in this game, but no one knows anything about it. I think the next day they announced that the Loot Goblin amiibo, and I think everyone's saying is basically they released a figure a few years ago, and it's that figure, a different coloured version of the exact same figure with an amiibo chip in it, an amiibo base, but they've basically released this figure before.
Have you seen the pictures of it? It looks a bit plasticky and cheap compared to what the amiibos are now. And maybe it's because of the colour. Maybe it's most of it is that bright red colour, and it makes it look like cheap plastic.
I thought it looked alright. I mean, I didn't really take a great gander at it, but it looked fine. I think the design looks quite nice. I'm just having a look at it now. Yeah, I think it's alright. I'm tempted to buy it. But although the latest amiibo do look phenomenal now, don't they?
Yes.
Even we'll chat about it later. Maybe the ones that are at the front, like for example the Smash amiibo that they announced last week.
That piranha plant is incredible.
Yeah.
So does that mean you are going to pick up Diablo 3 then?
I still don't know. Oh, is yours arrived?
No. I'm not expecting it until next week.
Okay. Honestly, the to and throwing I've been doing on this game is just ridiculous. I'm really tempted by it. I haven't bitten yet. I think if I saw it cheap-ish, I think I'd probably buy it. If there wasn't 3 games I wanted next week, I think I'd definitely buy it. There'll be something which makes me just go do it. It'll be like I'll go on a website and it'll be like 30 quid or something, and I'll just buy it, or I'll watch a specific video, or I'll chat to you and you'll be saying it's amazing. There'll be something. I'll be gobsmacked if I don't have it by Christmas, but there'll be something which makes you buy it, because it appeals to me greatly, and I want to play it. Or a demo, if they release a demo that could do it.
Surprised they haven't released a demo. There is for all the kind of bundles and the amiibos and everything else they've thrown at it. Yeah, you would think a demo would be an essential just to get those extra sales like from yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not as if the game's got hundreds of hours in theory that you could play this game for. So it's not as if a demo would kind of eat into that. It's just like sample the game, a bit of looting, get that loop, And if it appeals to you, kind of buy it up. We'll see. Because that's the thing, if I did love it as much as I could, I'd want it digitally. But I don't have enough trust in that, so I'm kind of looking at it physically. So, I don't know. Let's see what you say. See if you can convince me when you finally get it. Yeah, the last bit of news, and it's about the Mario Brothers film. I kind of forgot about this, actually, until this news came out. But the Illumination CEO, Chris Meledandri, I presume, sounds like a magician. He said, it's obviously speaking about the project, and he says, Miyamoto is acting as producer, obviously, we knew that already. And he says, and I quote, keeping him front and centre in the creation of this film. How do you feel about that, Lee?
I can understand it from the perspective of the Bob Hoskins Mario movie, which was a disaster, obviously, from 1985. Yeah, wow, 1985.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I'm sure. Was that? Maybe I was maybe I got the year wrong, but it was in the 80s, wasn't it?
I thought it was much later than that.
Okay, you can correct me now. And then,
because
of that disaster, I can understand Nintendo wanting to make sure that the movie's moving in the direction they want. Whether Miyamoto is the best person for that, I do question.
Why not? Why isn't he?
Whenever you watch like a Mario game or anything he's put his input into, all the kind of CG cutscenes and the stories, they're all bland, short. There's nothing to the story. He keeps that to a minimum, and understandable for some of the games and the way he wants to keep it, the gameplay. I don't think that kind of approach would be applicable for obviously making a movie that needs a solid core story, and I suppose Illumination will push them in the right direction as well, as long as he's just there advising them, no, Mario can do this, Mario can't do that, and not sticking his nose in too much to what they want from the story end of it.
Did you see the Pikmin short films?
No.
They were amazing, and he directed them.
Short. That's the point.
True. That is true. No, I agree. No, that's true. For me, I'm not worried about Mario being Mario. I'm not worried about Miyamoto being involved. Because you're being worried about Mario being involved in a Mario film. I think it could be good, but the fact Mario's in it, I don't know.
Get him out of there.
I just think the concept of a Mario film is... I don't know how to make it work.
So bizarre. He's not, he's a non-talking character. It's going to be bizarre. Anyway, carry on. Sorry, Darren.
Yeah, no, just sort of that really. You think of what the Lego film is an amazing example of what to do with a property which is almost impossible to make a film out of. And another, Mario could have been an approach. I don't know. I think it's tricky, but can't wait to see what they're going to do. And I hope they nail it. I'm not expecting anything amazing out of this. Well, just to say, by the way, Mario Brothers film, you were close. You were close with 1985, 1993.
See, what's 8 years between friends?
But yeah, either way, surely it's going to be better than that. But will it be as legendary as that? Who knows? Probably not. I'd imagine just distinctly average is what it'll be.
I just downloaded the Mario Brothers movie as well.
Well, yeah, I've got it on iTunes.
Just to get a bit of torture in on the weekend.
All right, that's it for the news. Next, we're going to go straight into... Oh no, we're going to go what we've been playing. Let's go for that bit. Sorry, I'm about to skip past that. I want to chat about Smash. That's why the anticipation can continue. Let's chat about what we've been playing. So, Lee, it's been embargoed. You've been playing this for a while and you can finally speak about it. I'm very interested. I was very excited about this. Should I still be excited about the game that you've been playing?
I was so excited when we saw it on this game. It's called Zarvot, by the way. It's the cube shooter that we saw on one of the Nintendo Nindy Directs. And I was like, oh yeah, it's time, Enter the Gungeon, love it, twin stick shooter, perfect controls, everything runs smoothly, and Zarvot could fill that gap that now I'm slightly waning on Enter the Gungeon, maybe put a bit too much time on. I think I'm about nearly 30 hours in Enter the Gungeon, and then Zarvot can step up and fill that hole. So when I was offered a review code, I jumped on it. It was like, yes, definitely. I'm not going to turn this down and start playing it immediately. And it's not a bad game. It's just not what I was expecting on many levels. And because of that, I ended up finally disappointed. It looks great. If you see the Nintendo Direct, and everything is this super realistic graphics with this highly stylized, blurred out edges. So everything bar maybe 1 or 2 blocks in the middle, you can see super crystal, and everything else is just slowly blurring out until right at the edges it's really super blurred. But it keeps it does help the game in that it keeps your eye focused on your central character, and you don't get distracted by what's moving around you, because it can get quite a manic game. It's very quick-paced, very fast-flowing motion. You move the left analog stick, and it's so fast, but it needs to be. I'll explain why it needs to be later. When you do platforming sections, you just tap the analog stick just a little bit, and you're racing off. There's no nuance to the analog controls. Okay. It's just full speed or stop.
Feels like digital almost.
Yeah, almost. And because of it, it makes platforming sections rather tricky. And and there's this weird design choice as well, where you can be walking, especially in the story mode, which I'll talk about later as well. You can be walking down a certain corridor, and there's like invisible walls, so you can't fall off the edge. And then you turn a corner and you bump into the edge and you fall off. The invisible walls disappear. So in some places you can fall off, and in other places you can't. And it just doesn't tell you where this happens. And there's just weird little problems that added up to make the game rather disappointing.
What? So there's like no rule to that? It's just like sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. There's no...
Yeah. No rule,
ridiculous.
Nothing at all. Yeah, it is ridiculous. Especially when you get to the first time you drop off. You've got used to the areas being blocked off and you can bump into the wall while you're fighting around enemies. And then you try it again and you drop off and you're like, hang on. And then you try it later and it's blocking you again. Yeah, it's all over the shop in areas like that. The story is single player only. It's got this surreal edge to it. Which is, they got this highly reverent talk about bananas all the time. Everything, and that just, anything that kind of sums up that Iwata holding bananas for no reason, or something Monty Python-esque, always gives me a chuckle. And this did at times. It's just the rest of the story's a little bit too childishly simplistic. Maybe I was expecting too much, I was expecting the story to go in one direction, where your main character is called Charcoal, and your next friend who accompanies you on these missions, why you can't have co-op, that's another downer. No co-op. It's like, does
it feel like it could easily work?
Yeah. You're walking around these platforms, and then you go into a kill room. And it's like, why can't I have co-op in this? You're missing a massive, massive part of the game that I would have loved playing with my son. And I'm just playing this on my own, thinking, why can't I play this with 2 players? So you with Charcoal, your main character, Mustard is your friend, and then you're basically collecting items by finishing levels to create the perfect birthday present for another friend called Red. That's it, basically. But as you're going out with Mustard, Red is getting lonely. And I thought, this could go really nice into the feelings of loneliness and how we neglect people, but actually we're doing something good behind their back. And it didn't. It just ended the story. I'm not going to spoil the story, but it ended the story. It ended really boring and kind of, you didn't delve deep enough into that for me.
It is really simplified.
Yeah, and everything is simplified in it. The game, you can finish the story mode in 4 hours. It's not particularly difficult, apart from, I think, about 2 or 3 difficulty spikes with bosses. And once you play the boss 4 times, you'll end up beating him through either sheer forcing it or just learning the slight nuance to jumping and things like that. Because you can jump in it, you press B, double tap for a double jump. Your ZR button shoots, your ZL button, tap it quickly, you encircle your cube with a ring of spikes, like a little half a second of shield. Hold it down and the circle increases around you and explodes in this circle attack. And that's practically all the maneuvers, except you can't comparing it to Enter the Gungeon again. You go in Enter the Gungeon and you got 10 bullets in this gun, you shoot, and then you reload and carry on again. In Zarvot, you've got this weird system where you shoot 5 times in a row and your gun freezes. it basically overheats your engine. It's got this little red icon at the back of your cube, which builds up and then it freezes. So then you've got a cooldown period. The screen can be just manic with so many enemies, which is one of the good things. There's like 20 enemies and lasers going off everywhere. And you can't shoot anything fast enough. You're always having to temper it and feather the shoot button like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, instead of just letting rip.
Okay, so it's not as satisfying, basically.
It's not as satisfying. And it can be frustrating as well in that it's not twin stick. Looking again at the Nintendo Direct and looking at the way he was moving, when it's not twin stick, you're basically sacrificing movement for aim. So as an enemy, and they fly in really fast, comes jumping in towards you, my natural instinct is to back off and start shooting at it. But by backing off, you perform this small turning circle and then you're facing the other way. So you've got to balance. You can't strafe or anything in it. So you've got to kind of pass the enemy and leave such a gap that you've got room to turn around, because there's a slight turning circle involved, and then hope that they're not close enough to you when you're ready to shoot. So the game is this constant balance of finding space and shooting, and I found that a little frustrating in itself as well. I just want to blast away. Maybe it's just not the game that I was expecting.
But it's not been a pleasant surprise either. That's the thing. It's like, it may not be what you were expecting, but the differences are all disappointing, it sounds like, as well.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Sounds like the last Star Wars film.
Yeah, for me, yes.
Yeah, and me.
I remember talking about it, yeah. Flying Princess Leia. Anyway, there's an arcade mode, which kind of picks it up, because picks up the pace, but the arcade mode is only single player as well. I'm like, you're missing a huge part of the game. So you've got 12 stages or arenas with 5 waves of enemies, and the waves are big, so you take them down, and it's fun. The arcade mode is fun, because they're bigger arenas than what you're used to in the story mode. But come on, co-op there would be perfect. And it suffers from all the other problems as well. Some stages you can fall off, some you can't. And it doesn't telegraph it. Enemies are cute, some are cubes with spikes, some are fly, some drop lasers, some are rotating spike lasers. Every enemy has to be learnt. The versus mode is where you'll get your... Not co-op, there's no co-op mode. The versus mode is where you'll get your fighting action, no online. And 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I talked about Oh My God Heads. Mm-hmm. And I was pleasantly surprised with the way it was only local co-op as well, and the way you could manically, and everything was fast, fun, and even though it was a one-trick pony, it played well. This does exactly the same thing. It does classic deathmatch, last cube standing, first to 10 kills, all that, but it's a slower paced game. So once again, when you're fighting against someone, you're always looking for space and moving more than you're shooting. It slows the game down, and it doesn't feel as fun as Oh My God has felt. There's a couple of outstanding modes though, like the sumo mode, where you got to stand your ground and push everybody else off, and a sushi collecting mode, which is similar to the clam blitz in Splatoon 2. Where you have to collect all the sushi, and you have a trail behind you. Anybody blows you up, then they can collect sushi, and everybody's jumping in to grab the sushi. And the last one I found the most interesting one is called Zarvot, where one person takes control of a motion-controlled levitating banana that shoots lasers to kill everybody else, and you can call down minions, the little cubes to kill people as well. A little bit like Zombie U multiplayer. Which you need more than 2 players for that though. You need a group of 4 players to get the most out of how manic that could turn out. So, problems.
But overall, average? It sounds like distinctly average.
Distinctly average because of all the problems that weigh it down, and a lack of longevity. There's no way with Oh My God Head sitting next to it I'm ever going to go back to this and play the multiplayer either. So now I've seen it through 4 hours. That's a lot, Other little problems, like, things they should be patching. The rumble would come on during a cutscene and just stay on full blast until the cutscene ended. Problems that happened in games on the N64, the old school problems that should not happen nowadays. Dropping off an area during a cutscene and then when the game restarted after the cutscene, I was mid-fall. So every time I respawned, I was mid-fall and had to restart the entire level. It's like,
oh my god,
little problems like that, just too much.
Sloppy. If they patched in co-op, would that improve it drastically, or
I think that would improve it a lot. If they patched in twin stick shooting, that would fix it completely for me.
In theory, could they do that? Or is the whole game designed around the slower, clumsier sort of control method? Or do you reckon they could easily just patch it in?
I think they could easily patch it in, but I don't know if they'd have to sort out some enemies because they'd be too easy there, but they could just throw more enemies at you or make the enemies tougher.
I mean, I can't imagine them doing that.
No chance. But if they did co-op, it would be. I might even sit down and play through the story mode again in co-op.
Yeah, okay. Because that's something you feel as if they could maybe do that, patch that in, but don't know. So a big shame because it did look great. It's got a weird like Pikmin vibe, hasn't it? Graphically, sort of the realistic sort of worlds, little characters. Yeah. What else was in that Ninja's Direct? There's a few decent games. But it's the first one that's come out, isn't it, that one?
The first big one that especially the first big one that kind of blew me away and thought, hey, the Goose Game, that's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Awesome. So that's another one to avoid. It's good. I'm now at the stage where I'm like, I like hearing that games aren't great. I'm like, good. That's another one I don't need to get. For me, obviously last week I was chatting about playing horror games and I chatted about Limbo and... What else did I chat about? Oh yeah, the Bull Boy. Yeah. So now this week I've been playing Blood Stained. I'm near the end of both of these games, so I've not finished either, but I'm near the end of Blood Stained, The Curse of the Moon. Don't know if you know about that. That's the...
Yeah, I know. The Keiji Inafune, the kind of Castlevania 3-esque game.
Yeah, but this is the bonus, wasn't it? This isn't the proper game that was Kickstarter. This is like the kind of perk, the bonus perk. Yeah, and it's a sort of 8-bit, very much Castlevania, very much. There's no, it doesn't hide away from that. And I've been playing Inside, which is by the same studio that did Limbo. So I've been playing both of those. I mean, Bloodstained it's a very good Castlevania game, 8-bit Castlevania game. I don't think it's amazing, in all honesty. But I think it's really good fun. Like I said, I'm right at the end of there.
How does it stack up against things like Shovel Knight, which I adore?
No, it doesn't. No. Yeah, no. It's not even in the same league. Shovel Knight is inspired by 8-bit Mega Man games or whatever, but it is very much a modern game. Yeah. It feels modern. It's a master. I think it's a masterpiece. Shovel Knight. I think it's incredible. And I think it's inspired by those games. This could have been a release then. There's a few quality of life sort of adjustments, but not really. It feels very much like a rip-off of Castlevania 3. So it's very different, and it's so in that regard, it's not in the same league as Shovel Knight, but then not much is. But it's still a really sort of fun game. I'm enjoying playing through it. How it works is each level you unlock another character, and then in the game you can rotate between the characters, and they've got different abilities and stuff like that. The game I wanted to chat about was Inside. I mentioned last week that I really enjoyed Limbo. I felt as if moments of it feeling dated, but ultimately it's still beautiful. It looks incredible. It's got an amazing sort of atmosphere to it. And then the puzzles are still like really ingenious. Inside, so in my head, this is a prequel to Limbo. If you know it is, don't say anything. I don't know if it is. If I'm like, this is a prequel to Limbo, you got no idea. Or it could be. It plays exactly the same as Limbo. It is exactly the same. You play a little boy, but he's alive. This is why I think it could be a prequel. At the end, I'm expecting him to die at the end of this game, and then it leads into he's the little boy in Limbo. But so the kind of story is not that there is loads of story, but there's more story than there is in Limbo. Is literally you're in Limbo and you've got to navigate your way through, and you almost feel like the boy doesn't even know why he's there. There's a little bit more of an involved story here, but it's told in the same sort of very subtle, beautiful way. There's no dialogue. There's no cutscenes. There's nothing telling you what's going on. It tells you the story through playing it. And the little boy is basically escaping some sort of fascist controlling regime. And he's running away from that. And that's kind of roughly it. So you kind of think, you don't know if it's war. It's definitely future, in the future. But you just sort of get a sense of this boy trying to escape these kind of men and their dogs and things like that. And like Limbo, you play it along a 2D plane. And you solve puzzles in exactly the same way. It controls the same. All I would say is everything about this is on another level to Limbo, on a higher level to Limbo. It looks Limbo looks stunning. To be fair, this kind of looks even more stunning. The style, Limbo is beautiful because it's black and white and it uses silhouettes and it's artistically it's beautiful. This doesn't have the luxury of having such a sort of a distinct style, but it still looks utterly stunning. It's still got quite a painterly effect. The way the perspective works, it's really beautiful to look at. The puzzles are more natural. They're always serving story. With Limbo, it's like just random things happen. It's fine, but it's a bit more random. You know, a spider comes and you've got to figure out how to kill a spider. There's this random other person in Limbo trying to kill you, and you've got to solve that problem. Inside, it's a much more natural flow of the puzzles. Like you're escaping, really clear objective, and everything is happening to escape and to keep going through this town or city or whatever it is. And the story is kind of beautiful. It is kind of this heartbreaking. You know, it is that I find it genuinely affecting, controlling this boy. And you don't know what he's escaping from, but he doesn't have his family. Where's his family? And by what's happening around him, you probably presume his family's dead. And it's like everything is filling your mind, even though it's telling you nothing. All you're doing is running away, and occasionally there's people with torches looking for you. And there's these moments where like dogs chase after you, like you're kind of running, and then a dog kind of starts barking, and then you see this dog running towards you, and the kind of genuine sort of terror you feel because you're so sort of instantly connected to this world and this character is kind of mad. I've kind of not felt something like that for quite a long time, to be honest. It's so effective in how it works, and genuinely sort of terrifying, like trying to escape these animals and hide from these men, and it's just so sort of beautifully done. And then it kind of gets, like I said, I'm towards the end now, but it starts having these really futuristic things, and then the story really turns, and you realise that there are people who are almost like, not zombies, but they're like almost mind controlled. So there's like the people of the town or the village or whatever, they're sort of like they're slumped down, and there's these futuristic-y head sort of like, I'm trying to word it out.
Like a Metroid.
Yeah, sort of, but they're like metal, and then you put your head in it, you put your character's head in it, and then you can control these sort of like the other people of the village. So they're all like, basically they're like mindless, and they're being controlled by this regime or whatever's happened. And then you could jump into this sort of like metal circle thing that grabs your head, and then you can control them, and you solve puzzles by then controlling them, who are on a different plane. So they'll maybe in a different area of the level in the background or above you, and you can control them. And even the way that is done is like it's just stunning. Like the way, like your character's still moving, he's like trapped in this, he's being held by this metal thing, but he's still, so when you're walking, the character's still sort of like walking, and he's still grabbing. So it's like this weird theatrical sort of representation of the boy reenacting everything that the other characters are doing. And then the other characters, the way they move, like I was playing it, and my girlfriend was watching as well, and even she was like, oh my god, that looks amazing. Like it looks amazing. Like the way the characters move is very, very theatrical, very dancey. Like they're not just walking and running and moving things. Like the way the characters move, it's like really large expressions, and it's stunning. It's like the animation and the way it's presented is stunning, and it sort of adds to this sort of haunting sort of kind of atmosphere of it all. And that's like a massive addition to the kind of puzzle solving in Limbo, and it creates these stunning sequences. And then there's a bit where he kind of layers up, so you put your head in this metal thing. Sorry, I'm not explaining that very well, but I hope you can imagine it, sort of. But where you put your head in, and then
was there something like that in War of the Worlds? Yeah.
If you think like all these like futuristic, almost like 12 Monkeys, or like where they clamps on people's head and it like sucks. It's like that, but it's a positive thing. Because you can control people, but then you can control
Professor
one of the
okay.
Exactly that. Exactly that. It is that, actually. That is exactly what it is. But then you can put I call them zombies, that's so terrible. Whatever they are, the other people, you can put them in one, and then they can control another one. So then you can control like three layers of... It's a great addition to the kind of puzzle solving. But yeah, and that's it. It's such a simple, like Limbo, such a simple game. You run, and you can move things, and that is it. And jump, obviously, run, jump, and move things about, and that is all the game can offer. But everything around it is genuinely sort of like blowing me away. I think it's at the minute I'd say it's a bit of a masterpiece of a game, and I cannot wait to play it. I just want to keep playing it and find out kind of what happens, and this, the kind of the skill and confidence of the storytelling and the simplified gameplay is kind of really admired. Like other games would maybe have an intro scene or a little bit of text saying, oh, it's set in year 20 or whatever, this has happened, and this game's like, nope, throws you in. You can in the story builds through action and through the world building, and it's It is incredible, and I would just say everybody should buy this. But then, I've kind of mentioned it to a few people, and some people, like one of my mates was like, yeah, I played it, finished it. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Which is, well, it's a bit of a simplified kind of view on it. It's like, I thought it was average. And I'm like, my brain can't comprehend how anybody could play this game and think it was average. I can't. I know people have different opinions, but there was sometimes you watch something or play something, and you're like, surely everybody thinks that's a masterpiece. Surely there's nothing about it. But even on Discord, I think someone on Discord said they thought it was average. I was just like, really? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Do you like Pan's Labyrinth and Guillermo del Toro?
Pan's Labyrinth is probably one of my favourite films of all time. Guillermo del Toro, hit and miss. I think some of this stuff is stunning.
It sounds like a kind of game that he would make, There's this nightmarish child, always based around a child of a fairy tale. Don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to tell you everything. Work it out yourself.
Yeah, and also like that, and it's just in the sense of that the kind of the world is kind of, obviously that's like the Spanish sort of Civil War or whatever, but it's like the kind of world is building the kind of narrative and the attachment to it. Yeah, it's not as fantastical as that. Although I did mention about the kind of the head things, but that doesn't feel obviously Guillermo del Toro is almost like the
it's fantasy more in
realm of like monsters, and this is much more sci-fi. Yeah. The kind of way it works, but it's got a very similar feel and atmosphere to that. It's not a bad. Considering you've not played it, that's not a bad comparison actually to Pan's Labyrinth. But seriously, I think even in the sale it's like £12, and it's going to last me about 4 hours, which is per hour. Pound per hour is quite high, but for me, when the hours are this good, it's still an absolute bargain. Well, definitely going to be my top 10 gamers of the year. I'll say that for sure. And it's just a stunning surprise. What a surprise! How it was also instant as well. Like as soon as I started playing it, I was like, "Oh wow, this is amazing." It's the way the kind of characters and it's really stunning. And this has a real clanger of an ending. But currently,
I've just looked at some of the stills and thought this speaks to me in volumes as well, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. Would you recommend playing Limbo first?
Yes, I probably would actually.
I'll probably end up playing both anyway. They both.
If you're gonna play both, play Limbo first, because I do have a feeling they're going to be connected story wise. Yeah, they may not be. They may just be play similar. It could be similar, but they could easily connect them. And then that's kind of what I'm expecting. But I'd play Limbo first because Inside is better in every single way. So if you played Inside first, Limbo would be a bit disappointing. But like I say, I played Limbo before actually, but playing Limbo again, it was still great. It was still like, this is brilliant. This is great. It's not perfect, but it's really good. But Inside is an absolute other level on every single aspect, I think. So if you're going to play them both, Limbo first. Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to the ending. But yeah, get it. What a game. Awesome. So that's what we've been playing this week, and next we finally get to chat about Smash Brothers. So Smash happened. We did our predictions. We all said Ken. We all said bits and pieces, but generally we were wrong. I think a lot of people were. Last week we was all very excited. I think it was 8, 9s, 10s were on kind of hype. It was like, it's going to be amazing. How did you actually feel while watching it and then afterwards?
Started off and we had the first 2 reveals, which I'm not going to mention yet, but still hyped. It's like, oh yeah, they've started off strong, and here we go. And then, unfortunately, one of my predictions was we're going to have the boring 15-minute section, and that went on more than 15 minutes. And at the end of it, it did redeem itself with the last video, which I'm sure we'll talk about quite a bit. It still felt strangely disappointed, even though I'm so hyped for the game because of all the content it's got, everything else that would be coming to it. The direct itself did disappoint me.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably our fault, to be honest, because we were so excited about it. And although you could say that they kind of did that to us, because previously everything was just so, the direct before was so incredible. It was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. So, but we sort of did it to ourselves. I think I sort of agree with you. It's like the actual direct itself felt really, really disappointing and underwhelming, because we were expecting loads of characters. We was expecting, it was expecting so much, and it didn't quite deliver that. And I think it was also 15 minutes too long. But ultimately, like now, when you just take the information from the direct, we'll go through it, and you think about the game, it's still unbelievable. It's still incredibly exciting. It's gonna be amazing, and I cannot wait. But I just thought, let's just go through the kind of key parts of the direct and kind of what we thought. I thought, do you want to lead the way with the what we saw?
Yeah, let's talk about the fighters first then. So obviously there was Ken Masters, looking a slightly nippier, more powerful version of Ryu. Which does that now mean that Ryu is just going to be left in gathering dust in the corner? Welcome.
No, even in the Street Fighter games, they've all got their pros and cons. I think isn't Ryu more powerful, but Ken's faster, and
Ken also had a slightly larger flaming uppercut and some slightly what looked like longer reaching back kicks. But surely Ryu must make up for his lacking speed with a bit more power.
Yeah, I think Ken's got more range and is faster, but I think Ryu's more powerful or something. But either way, it's great to have these, and I loved kind of Ryu, whatever, being in the first. We all said he was going to be in it as well, didn't we? But great to see.
And Ken is looking great as well. And then there was this. I wonder who you thought it was first of all. Ken came on, he did his bit, and then all of a sudden, this flaming character from Little Max in the ring and all that as well came on with a boxing hood on and his cape, and it's like, and who did you think it was, Darren, before they revealed it?
I did think it was Incineroar.
Oh, did you? I see. I hadn't heard too much chat recently about an Incineroar.
I had.
Okay. So I didn't. Incineroar just didn't pop into my mind. I'm going like, oh my god, is that someone from Diablo 3? They've gone that far with the Diablo love for Blizzard, and they've got a Diablo 3 demon in there. But no, Incineroar.
That'd have been better.
But I like his pro wrestling.
He looks good.
The wrestling.
Yeah, he looks
good.
He
swings things around a little bit like Zangief in some of his moves. Yeah, it's looking interesting.
Yeah, it's just I'm not really into Pokemon, so I didn't know anything about it. I knew there was obviously going to be a new Pokemon character in it from the last gen, and all the rumors where it was going to Incineroar was the favourite one. So as soon as there's a big flaming thing, I kind of knew it was. But didn't know who he was, didn't know anything about him. But I think it looks good fun.
Yeah, it looks great fun. But the last one, and I've loved as well, and maybe it's a bit of masochism, the meltdown on Twitter that's happened subsequently for this last character reveal. And I don't care. I think it's fantastic. What a character to throw in there. That kind of WTF moment. Piranha Plant. Early purchase bonus fighter. So I believe you've already purchased Smash Brothers digitally.
Yeah, I've already downloaded it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, definitely.
Digitally.
Yeah.
Apparently, Nintendo have already started sending out codes now for DLC to say, hey, you can now register for Piranha Plant to be included into your Smash Brothers game when he comes around next year, 2019. I haven't received any email from them yet.
Yeah, me neither. Okay. Me neither. But I think this is a great shout as well.
Yeah.
We knew there'd be a character which was like, what? And in a good way, no one predicted it, but that's the kind of point of having one of those types of characters, isn't it, I guess? But I don't get people love moaning about anything, don't they? But I think it looks good fun. It's a free character. They did this before, wasn't it? With the Wii U version, it was Mew or Mewtwo. I was getting mixed up.
Yeah, Mew.
They announced it, and that was like a pre-bonus thing.
Yeah,
I think it's great. I just think it's funny where they announced those first two, and then went, okay, that is finally the roster, 74 characters. We're finally done, and it's like, no, it's still not done. It's still got to keep adding another one as well. So. It was very funny, but from that, I think maybe it's worth leading on to the DLC characters.
Yeah.
What did you think about them announcing it? Actually, and the pricing and things like that?
I thought they started. You mentioned DLC already. I thought they would have kept that for at least after the game had released. Maybe an early January direct or something like that. Just obviously there's been subsequent information which we'll talk about as well, but. They're going to be up until February 2020. The DLC will be slowly coming out. 5 characters, 5 stages, and varieties of tracks relating to each character that's coming out. I was a little bit not taken aback, but it's kind of you expect it. Even with the depth of characters and stages and everything they're throwing at, there's always more stuff they can put in.
Yeah, exactly. I was just surprised it was only 5. But then thinking about it, that's still a lot of work, isn't it? It's like a character. Once they start rolling it out, which will be realistically like April time, because they've got Piranha Plant in February. The first character's not going to be April, May, and then so there's going to be then a character every couple of months. So that sounds pretty good, and I'm sure they'll do a second wave after February 2020 as well. I wasn't bothered. I didn't care. We all knew it was going to happen. I'm glad they confirmed it. It allows the speculation to continue and the excitement to continue as well. And so each pack, isn't it? What is it? You get a stage, the character, and then the music
to go with them. Yeah.
What do you think to the pricing?
For one character, one stage and music, £5.39 seems a little high, but when you bundle it all together and you get it for a couple of quid off each one, so it's like £4.39, so it's £22.49 for the 5 altogether. It's like, yeah, okay, that's reasonable. It's not.
Did you get that as well?
I didn't. No, and I didn't realize until after I purchased it. I just went straight in, purchase, done. And then you can't, at the present time anyway, you can't separately purchase this DLC pack. You can only do it through the bundle. So
so you missed your double coins on the DLC.
I did miss my double coins on the fighter pass. Yeah.
Oh, well, although it was a bit like £80 odd.
That's right. Wow. I'm paying 60 already. Am I going to pay that 22 quid extra? Yeah. I'll hold off. I'll hold off until I see them coming out, I think.
You reckon to see? But do you think, in all honesty, there's no doubt?
When 6 months pass and they release in the first one, I'll probably jump in.
Probably go for it. But they've also just announced actually yesterday that they already know who they are.
Yeah, Sakurai. I don't know whether they do know who they are or whether he's just trying to make people shut up to stop throwing him. It's got to be this. It's got to be this. It's like, oh, please be quiet. We know who they are. Be quiet.
Could be.
And he says that it's all been made, all the decisions of all 5 characters have been made by Nintendo. Does that insinuate that all these 5 characters will only be Nintendo ones?
That's not quite what he said, actually. Sort of, in effect. Didn't he say that basically Nintendo supplied the ones that they want in it, like the pool, and then he decided which ones he could turn into a fighter?
Ah, okay, I didn't know that.
So they may have given him like 20 characters, and then he said, right, I can turn these into a character.
This one will work better than that one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, yeah. No, I don't think that means that, because ultimately Nintendo are doing Sakurai's not going to be going to Microsoft and doing the deal for Banjo, or, so Nintendo will say, right, we've chatted to these companies, these are the characters that we can have, who do you want, sort of thing. So no, I don't think it rules any third parties out. I'm not saying it means we're going to get any, although I think we will, definitely. If you think of the DLC for the Wii U, where we got Cloud, Ryu, Bayonetta.
Yeah, it was very third-party accentuated. So Steve and Banjo all confirmed. Good.
Yep, still in. Who would you prefer out of the two? You'd prefer Banjo, wouldn't you?
At this point, actually, I played so much of Minecraft with my son, I wouldn't mind seeing Steve.
Yeah.
But he's another sword, well, they could be a bit more crazy with his kind of design, but he is another sword swinger, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how they played him, whether they brought in the building aspect a bit more, or I've not played Minecraft that much, more than 10 minutes, so I've got no idea, and I don't like Banjo. I don't care, neither for me.
He basically runs around with a sword, a bow and arrow, or a pickaxe to dig things, and a shovel as well, and that's your lot.
Yeah, maybe not then. I don't know. If we've only got 5, I can think of 5 characters I'd rather have. But I think, do you think all bets are off? It could be anybody. I think Gino looks quite likely, considering he's not an assist trophy or anything, and he's one that was high on the that list that they did.
Yeah, he's a not a shoe-in, but yeah, he's one of the favourites, definitely. I would after seeing the assist trophy, which we'll talk about later, of Springman, I want to see Springman in it now. I want to see a proper Springman, but he's an assist trophy, so he's very unlikely to happen now, isn't it?
He was one of my predictions. I am gutted, but the only thing that I can think of, and I'd be happy with it, is that it could just be another ARMS character. Like Twintel's the most popular.
Yeah.
Or I would prefer Mechanica. That's who I would love to see in this. I love Mechanica. If I think if anything, maybe Twintel's going to make it instead.
She's got the fan. She's a fan favorite of ARMS.
She's the fan favorite. She's the most popular one.
Need a bit more. They always say they need a bit more female representation as well. So yeah, that would tick all the boxes.
Yeah. So although I was when he popped up, I was like, oh, flipping heck. But then I was just like, oh well, there's a lot of other ARMS characters, so So I think, although you think like if it was Springman, they could have had like Springtron as either an Echo or even a costume change. So, but I do think any assist trophies are not going to get upgraded. So the people who wanted Isaac and they wanted Shadow and all them, tough luck.
And what about the Mii fighters? So following on this, so basically if you purchase the Fighters Pass, starting right from when the game, you can download the last bit of game, so December the 7th when the game actually finalises and gets, you can actually play it, you'll be able to get a Mii fighter fit based on Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
Does that also mean that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 won't see representation in these DLC characters?
No, it doesn't mean that, because there's also a costume for Inklings, and they're in it.
Okay, good.
So they showed, yeah. So it's possible. So I don't think that rules them out. And I think there's some other costumes as well of characters that are in the game. So I think that could still happen. Again, not into Xenoblade Chronicles, so I'd rather not. But I think Rex is a. Although, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how he goes. I think they look good. I like the Yiga clan costume for the Miis. I think that looked great.
Yeah,
I like the people really hate them, don't they? I like him. It's like they're extra characters. You don't have to use them. You know, you can put you in the game. I think it's good fun.
And with 74 characters, and you play at most, your favourites, and then one or two you're only gonna play them once, and then just to test them out.
I'm not really. I've never been into Smash enough to have favourites. I like Link because I love Zelda. Actually, I'm one of those people. I will always whack it on random.
Oh, good man! Can't wait to play you online.
When I play tennis, I know. I mean, it may be different because I'm hoping that this is the first. I played Smash 64 a lot because I was at university, so I played it a lot with mates and stuff. But I've never really got into it. But I'm hoping this is the first one that I really kind of get into. And Hugo likes the Wii U version. He's terrible at it. He doesn't really know what he's doing. But I'm hoping that this could be this could be the one that maybe he can improve and develop on. So I'm hoping to play it a lot. So maybe then there'll be a few characters that I do really play as. But I love Smash for the kind of madness of it all. So I whack it on random. Everybody on random. See who turns up. see who turns up. Stage on random. Let's just have it kind of fun and mad. Yeah, exactly. So do you want to? What's next?
The next thing is the adventure mode. So this actually closed out the Smash Brothers Direct, and the adventure mode is entitled The World of Light, and it was that video that I was talking about earlier where all the characters, starting with Fox McCloud, are, hey, let's have at them, and there's master hands descending from the sky. The powerful guy who's controlling all these master hands is now subsequently known as Galeem. And then all manic. Everybody dies. We've seen, Thanos has had his way. Not 50%. Everybody bar one. And that was Kirby.
Obviously. Sakurai's like, Kirby.
Someone was showing on Twitter the Japanese Kirby anime, where Kirby just grabs one of the enemies, spins him around on his star, and throws him into the sun. It's like, Kirby's no slouch, If he can dispose of his enemies in ways that He-Man couldn't, come on.
Kirby is it. And so obviously we chatted last week about what we expected from the single player content. We actually missed about the spirits. We'll go back to that. But originally I thought spirits was the single player content, and I was like, It looks good, but that is disappointing. And then obviously they announced this. So this, from what you and Greg expected, you must be delighted with this. This is far more than what you guys were hoping for.
Yeah, is it like Greg promised though? At the beginning there's only Kirby left, so you're taking Kirby through certain levels. Is it going to be as linear as Greg said? It doesn't look like it. Looks like there's many branching paths. There's this huge world map, and I'm hoping it's not as linear as Greg said, because that's what I thought it would be. Surely we'll have the opportunity to use other characters in this story mode, and not only Kirby, and then Kirby stealing those powers from you, fighting Mario, steal Mario, so now I'm Mario. How far do you think it's going to go?
I think it's going to go really far. I'm sure there were bits in it where you saw the other characters. I think what you're going to do, you go as Kirby, you unlock the first character you fight is Mario, and then you Mario.
Or do you reckon you can choose between, now you've got Kirby and Mario, you can choose whatever you want, or now you've unlocked Mario, you take it on with Mario now, in that kind of linear way?
There was a screen which said team next to it on one of the things, so you could change your team. A bit of me is more expecting saying that you are playing you do Kirby for a bit, and then you do Mario's section, and then maybe the team is, if for multiplayer, like fights where you need more than characters, you can choose who you want to play with you. But I wouldn't be bothered with it. I mean,
no, it still looks so extensive. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's got skill trees. You obviously got the spirit stuff as part of it. I think it looks incredible, and there's clearly going to be loads of big cutscenes as well. It's because the movies tab said, the World of Light cutscenes. So they're not going to have a movies tab, which saves that if there's only going to be the one
movies tab just for that mode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be epic. I think it sounds amazing. I think we don't know yet, but it does look a little bit more, which is kind of what I said. Stringing fights, like a way to string fights together. But really varied fights. But I don't think there's going to be loads of subspace style adventuring, but no one likes
there's going to be less. There's no platforming in that kind of subspace emissary style way. You'd be doing it through like a Mario 3 world map by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll see, but the signs are very promising.
Yeah, the RPG elements I'm looking forward to, and then this obviously links into the RPG elements of what we briefly mentioned, the spirits.
Yeah, which is what we thought the single player was called, but it's actually the trophies name, the name for the new trophies, isn't it, basically?
Yeah.
So how did you feel about that when they went, no more trophies, this is the new mode? What was going through your mind?
Not bothered. Like yourself, I haven't been a massive Smash player in the past, and not to have trophies, because the amount of nods and winks and nudges to every single computer gaming franchise you can ever possibly imagine from Nintendo and third parties is just phenomenal. Characters that could never would have never had a trophy are now in this game. Even if it's just a little 2D sprite with character art. It's great stuff. And they just serve as well as powering up your character. And then you got main primary spirits, and then you got secondary spirits who can power up your primary spirit, and it adds extra additional RPG elements to your fighter. And not only that, by winning battles with spirits, you can then level up those spirits as well and evolve them in some kind of Pokemon card game. Amazing, called Enhanced Forms. Brilliant.
Yeah, then you unlock like new spirits. So I think it sounds amazing. Again, people have been jipping this, and I'm just like, what do people? I just don't understand. My brain is
what do they want?
What's there to not like? Yeah, it's like this is. I can understand people maybe missing trophies because they look nice. It's nice to spin around them. Personally, I don't care. You unlock it and then you look at it and then you never go back and look at it again. I know people did. I kind of get it. Personally, I'm like happy with this sort of more trading card style. You just collect them. It's just a 2D image, but there's going to be a hell of a lot more of them. But they have a lot more functionality as well. They had this, like you said, they had this RPG element to it. What excites me about it a bit more is the event mode styled kind of fights where the kind of inventiveness and the creativity of how they fuse all the characters from different games into the roster to create unique sort of fighting opportunities. Like they went on too long. This is the bit that got really boring. There was 20 minutes or 15-20 minutes they spent on this, and it was too much. We got it. Move on. They could have cut 10 minutes from this and saved, kind of made the whole thing a little bit more kind of palatable. But they showed some really nice examples of like Hal Emmerich from Metal Gear. So then you fought Dr. Mario, because he's a doctor in it. So you fought Dr. Mario, and he's got a really like Rob the Robot. So the Hal Emmerich character doesn't fight. So Mario doesn't fight, but Rob the Robot protects him, and you've got to like kind of attack it. It's just a nice, inventive way to create a new fight type. It could have just been like you fighting Dr. Mario, who's not going to fight back, but is with a giant Rob the Robot who is going to protect him, and you've got to try and kill him in a certain time. They could have done that, and it's still interesting. But the fact that it's they kind of add this other this spirit to it, this Metal Gear Solid character to it. It just makes it more fun. It just adds a little bit of kind of creativity to it. And they showed loads of examples of that as well, like the Octoling fight, which was Inklings. They showed loads of examples, and it's like, okay, that's really inventive, and I'm going to enjoy embarking on these kind of different kind of takes on fights and how they incorporated a character from this random game
And I think it's great. I think it's really, and I'm very excited about doing it.
Will this then, I've got certain spirits, and then you've got different spirits. They will let me gain an advantage over you because I've got a spirit that you're weak to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you said, it's almost got a trading card kind of game to it. Did they mention that you can play this online, the spirit mode, or is it just local?
Don't know. Sorry, I don't know. Don't think they mentioned it.
I don't think they mentioned it. No, I don't think they did. But it would be good if you could have spirit mode where it's like everyone can kind of add the spirits to their characters and have that as well. But they didn't. There's a few things they didn't actually tell us, which I'm pleased. I'm not bothered about. But there's a few things that are still pretty uncertain. Like, for example, there was no mention anywhere to do with home run contest or target smash. Was there an event mode, or is this event mode, or was there an event mode as well? I can't remember now. There's a few things where it's like, oh my god, is there not any of that in it? Or
there's not. It's been I can't remember Sakurai. When they did he sat down later for 22 minutes and chatted about the game, and that was one of the questions that came up. Home run hit mode and the target smash will not be appearing in this game.
Oh really? So they've definitely been confirmed not in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this you can imagine how long and the kind of the combinations of spirits and stuff and how much time you could put into it. I don't think he wants to throw more content that would take your attention away from playing these other modes, but it is a shame. Those target modes are good.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not devastated by it, but it's surprising. This seemed like relatively easy things to kind of throw in, even as they were, but that's fine.
Maybe future DLC?
Maybe patch that in later on. I didn't know it was confirmed, but there you go, it is. So that's all pretty amazing. Was there anything else about it? Like, obviously there's more assist trophies than we've ever had. Were there any assist trophies that you're particularly excited by, or alternatively gutted because we're never getting him as a character?
Well, there's obviously the Springman one. That is rather the biggest gutting one. But maybe more Street Fighter characters would be nice, and then by adding Guile as an assist trophy, but I'm not too bothered. As an assist trophy, he's a cool addition anyway. I just wish they would add more Street Fighter 2 assist trophies, stick in Chun-Li, stick in Eddie Honda, stick them all in. the kind of assist trophies I like, those madcap ones though, when the Nintendogs, the big dog jumps up and stuff like that are great. So the inclusion of the fly swatter from Mario Paint is brilliant.
Yeah, it was very good. It was really good. I love the assist trophies. It was funny when Isaac was the first one that cropped up though, because he was one that everybody was saying, I can't for the Isaac's going to be a character. He was in the leak and stuff like that, and first straight away Isaac, and then Springman. It was like, oh god, so many people were just like flipping heck. taunting fans. Yeah, so then they kind of also spoke about the kind of online, the multiplayer features. How did you feel about all that? There's still a little bit we don't know. There still felt like there was still menus that we didn't really dive deep into. But do you feel as if this feels like a good... Because obviously they've got rid of the For Glory and the For Fun.
And I never played those either, so I never saw the attraction to them if there was an attraction.
Well, basically, For Glory was Final Destination only, no items. It was for hardcore people who play
players, yeah.
Smash Brothers as a proper beat 'em up, and then For Fun was people who play it for the madcap kind of fun, everything goes, and they've eradicated that completely.
Well, they kind of still got that kind of elite smash, which will take over for the For Glory, won't it? Which will, lead into that now. But yeah, the online play is what I expected. Nothing mind blowing. It's there. It looks solid. The amount of variation that you can put into selecting everything down to the smallest of minutiae. Your characters, the stage, the time limit, the rules, how long it would take to set a matchup must be as long as it would take to play 2 or 3 matches. But you can then save your preferred setup, which is a good thing. You don't have to do that every time, and just jump into a match. That's called preferred rules. There's global smash power, which is just fighting everybody and having a score very similar, I suppose, to what Mario Tennis does.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You've never been that bothered about that, to be honest.
No, I'm never that good enough either, I just get hammered. But if you are good enough, once your global smash power then goes skyrockets, you get that elite smash opening up for the elite players, which would be something nice to watch, and at least they're letting us have the ability to watch that in a spectator mode.
So we can watch elite games as well?
don't know if you can only spectate through friends or you can spectate through games that maybe you have to say, yes, it's okay to spectate this match, or whether you can spectate any match that's running. That's another thing we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, did they mention, you know those other modes? I'm actually just thinking about this now, and I'm getting a bit worried. You know, there's amazing modes that they announced in the direct before, which was like the squad fight and stuff like that.
Oh, yes.
Can you do them online?
That's another thing they haven't talked about, is it?
Oh my God.
Because the only thing they've talked about is... But then again, you got preferred rules, which we just quickly went through, and setting up the small details of every... Maybe during that preferred rules, you can say, hey, I want to play 3v3 here. I want to play 5v5.
I don't remember seeing that on the...
No, I don't. On the
menu.
The menu selection, I don't remember seeing it either. If you can't, it's a very strange omission.
That would be... So I'm just thinking, when would I play it? If not,
yes, yeah, because you don't want to play it local. Yeah, and the last mode was proximity, and it's like, oh, a new mode, proximity. And it's exactly the same as the preferred rules, except you play with people who are close to you in the online sphere. So Europe stays Europe, UK stays UK if enough players if playing from the UK, and I'll be relegated to Japan, I suppose.
That's not a specific mode, is it? Isn't that just how it does its matchmaking?
I thought it was a proximity mode. You could actually select, I want proximity. I want to select players that are near me. Maybe it's just something you can select within your choices of who do you want to play against, maybe. Yeah,
probably. In the video, there was no that squad strike. That what's it called? Squad strike. That wasn't in there, and it wasn't in the kind of options menu of preferences. The only place it could be is in the private lobbies.
Possibly, yeah.
You know that please be in there. The other one, the Smashdown one, doesn't make sense. That's the one where the characters disappear. Although, why not? In a private lobby? Oh.
Yeah, in a private lobby. That it's like that. It's a Mario Tennis thing again, isn't it? Give us full matches. If you want to play a 3-set, 5-set match with 6 games, just let us,
Yeah.
If it cancels out and we have a bad connection and we have to one of you drops out, well, that's just tough luck. But yeah, it'd be nice to go. Hey, I've got 2 hours, Darren. You want to jump on? Okay, let's play a 10-man knockout smash game. And
yeah,
I don't think we'd be able to.
No. I mean, obviously, like I said, we still don't fully know, but it's looking pretty worrying on the kind of options front. What did you think to that? Like the hub? I mentioned, I'd love an ARMS style sort of situation. This is ARMS styled, but not. It doesn't look quite what I want. But what did you think to it? Or do you not care?
I prefer the ARMS style completely. That lobby system where it's throwing you into different matches randomly, and now you're doing volleyball, now you're fighting, now you're doing a 1v1v1 with 3, now you're doing a 2v2 tag team. I want to see something more like that, just completely shaking it up all the time, keeping me on my toes and keeping me interested. This just seems like old school online setup where I connect to my friend and that's it.
Yeah, and you can do it's nice. They've got that ring, haven't they? And then you can like put your token in the spectator one, so you're just watching. So say if you're like, I need to go make dinner, but I'll stay in the lobby. I'll put myself here, so I'm not going to join a game, and I'm going to put myself waiting. It's fine. It looks nice, but I liked the randomness. There's a leaflet in Japan that got released which said 32 players online.
Yeah. So
I was, so it would be great. 32 people in the lobby, and then sometimes you're in a 1v1, you're in a 2v2, you're in a stock match, you're in a time match, you're in it. I like that randomness, the kind of craziness of it all, but this feels a little bit. This just feels like you just decide how it's going to play. 4 people play. You either watch or you're next in line, and then you play in the next game. And it's sort of fine, I guess, but it's not what I kind of wanted it to be and expected it to be. And like, for example, say 4 people are playing, and then there's 4 people waiting to play next. Do they get swapped out, or is it 2 people stay on and the 2 losers lose?
Or can they start a match while the other 4 play in? Can you have consecutive matches? They're playing 4. Okay, these 4 can join and they can play their separate match while they're waiting for you to finish your match. And there's a lot of questions to be answered, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks fine. It could be incredible. So I hope it is incredible. And obviously, in that mode, you can also voice chat with the online app. Now, with the online app, something I mentioned was that, and I think you're in agreement with me, you see the potential of those online apps and each game having their own icon and being filled with information or whatever. They announced There's one for Smash Brothers. Did that excite you?
Miiverse. It's Miiverse,
yeah,
isn't it?
basically.
The thing is, I can hold down my Joy-Con square button and I can post to Twitter anytime. What's the difference?
I know.
You know, everybody who I would want to see my videos of Smash and my pictures of Smash are all on Twitter anyway. It's not the best use of what they could do.
No, I know. They even said it in the video where it's just like, "Oh, we're not going to tell you like your wins and losses and your stats and things like that. We're going to do." And I'm like,
but I want that.
I'd quite like that. Yeah. I won't mind it. I don't care about other people's pictures and videos. I wouldn't mind. It would be nice if there was like people on your friends list, or that, you know, like every sort of video and stuff. I'd like that. I guess if you could like filter it as just your friends and stuff. But I'm not that bothered. I'd rather others. You know, I'd rather stats and looking at the. You know, I'm obsessed with stats, so I'd as many stats as possible.
But they did say a caveat to it, is that there were other fun features as of yet. And well, they probably haven't even thought what they are. You know, they're not ready to tell us what other things this Nintendo Switch Online.
Is that how they worded it?
Yeah.
I know they said there's going to be updates, but did they word it in that way as well?
Other fun features was the direct quote.
Okay, cool. Okay, so maybe it can be better than it seemed, but it was a bit like, oh, really? I don't care about this. And you know it'll just be everybody as well. You won't be able to even filter it, people on your friends list or anything. But yeah, very, very dodgy. And they obviously, one of the things they announced, in fact, we mentioned it earlier, very excited about it. They showed off all their amiibo. Well, no, actually, they didn't. They showed off, you know, they were releasing some in December, then some in February, and some later in the year, which felt late. There was some that they didn't even mention. So they announced
the
King
more
K. Rool.
recent ones, yes, yeah. But then again,
Ken. You say that, but Ken
is there. Ken is there, yeah.
But no Incineroar.
No. Oh, the Piranha Plant. Oh, yeah, of course. Is it just Incineroar that hasn't been mentioned as a amiibo? Anybody else?
No, there is, but I'm just trying to think who now. Who got a mention? Oh, Castlevania. Simon Belmont and Richter.
Simon Belmont and Richter haven't had them either. You're right, and that's going back a while now. Do you think they would have mentioned those by now?
It's worrying. I wonder.
They'll be coming. They'll be coming.
Yeah, it's just weird that they announced all these coming in 2019, but then not mention them.
They haven't finalised their Smash poses yet, Darren. So
is that what it is? Okay, hopefully we'll find out more. But they look amazing. I'm gonna get them all. Obviously, are you tempted by any? You're not a big amiibo collector, but are you gonna get any of these?
I have 2 amiibos. I'm not a collector, but I do like the ones I've got. Got the bow and arrow Link from Breath of the Wild, and the Wolf Link from Twilight Princess. The Wolf Link's amazing. The Piranha Plant. He's looking amazing as a character and a fighter, and part of it is it's got no stand, it hasn't got anything that's holding it up, it's just a potted plant on that amiibo base. It just looks sturdy, and that curve of the vine coming up to the Piranha Plant's head is just beautiful.
So you're going to get Piranha Plant, but none of the others, not Wolf or Ridley, King K. Rool.
Wolf looks nice as well, doesn't he? But if I get Wolf...
They all look good.
That pose that Wolf has got with his claws leaning forward, it's really nice pose. I'd have to get, Fox to go with him then, and then I'm on a slippery slope.
Get them all. I mean, I was working out the other day how many I've got, which is over 100, and then thinking about how much money that costs, and I was just like, oh my god. That is no good. And there's going to be a lot more. I'm very excited about them. I've got an email today from Nintendo. We've got 3 more Splatoon ones coming this week.
The Octolings, yeah, they look nice. I quite like, out of all the Splatoon ones, I like the most recent pink girl Inkling amiibo, where she's sliding and she's got that little flick of paint underneath her foot, and she's got the doolies. That's such a nice amiibo.
All the Splatoon ones are really good, to be honest. They all look really nice. They did an annoying thing where they did colour variations of exactly the same.
Yeah,
but they're all pretty good. I do like them. Is there anything else about Smash Brothers that we haven't kind of chatted about that you're particularly excited about or not excited about, or you still want to know the information?
The challenges. When you complete specific challenges, these are going to be smaller little challenges. I like the way that it opens up into the comic book kind of style. And what people have noticed as well is that each page of this comic book has a specific style of challenge to be passed.
Oh, okay.
So one, for example, I don't know if this is true, but I'm just thinking on the top of my head. One, for example, could be a time-based one could be a damage-based one could be don't get hit, blah, 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 all that. So each page will be related to doing specific events in different manners, which sounds good as well.
Okay.
Just more content to do, more hours to throw at the game.
It all sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So you said that before, that you're not a massive Smash player. So what is it about this? Is it just timing in life? Is it because the Switch is so amazing? Is it what is it about this one that makes you feel like I'm going to get into this? I really want to get into it.
It's the Switch. It's all to do with the Switch. If this game was coming out on a traditional home console, I was sitting under my computer, under my TV, and I'd only have the TV to play it on, I wouldn't be so enthused. But just the thought of being able to, my wife is watching this now, I can just pick it up and drop into a quick 5-minute battle. It's just sold the game to me completely,
That's fair enough. So do you mix it quite a bit then, between handheld and...
Yes, yeah. I play it quite a lot in handheld. A lot of the time, because we only got one TV in the house. We're not a big TV kind of family. So that one TV obviously gets select times I can use it, like when my wife is out and I'm free in the middle of the day. And then, like in the evening, there's no chance. So it'll be handheld. I've even joined in with my son in handheld. We put it in tabletop mode, and we've played a few Mario Party games in handheld mode. So.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay. So the nature of it just means that I'm guessing it's not just Smash either, but I guess it's a lot of games which all of a sudden become far more appealing.
Yeah, Diablo. That Diablo is gonna spend a lot of time on my Switch.
Yeah. It's what a platform. But yeah, very exciting. It's a month today as we record this.
Oh yes, good news.
And I'm sure we'll be chatting about it very much once the game actually comes out. That was a good one. It's all done. We know pretty much everything. Still some surprises in terms of how what kind of modes and how they work, how online's fully going to work, and the depth of the single player mode. Ultimately, no pun intended, it does sound incredible. So awesome. So that's it for another week. Next week, Greg should be with us. He'll be back, depending on baby rather. Hopefully not babies for him. That'll be
a big surprise. I don't think he's expecting that one.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll chat to you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nintendo Review Podcast. You can find this very podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and YouTube. Just search for the Nintendo Review Podcast. Don't forget to give us a review and ask us a question. We are also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where you'll find great content such as news, reviews, and streams. Of course, you'll find us at nintendoreview.co.uk. And check out our Nintendo Review Discord channel for lively discussion, meetups, and in-game voice chat. Drop by and say hello. Podcast Extras! Podcast Extras!
Sloppy.
Are you recording? Oh, whatever. My volume is too low.
Sloppy.
The outside world, unfortunately, is humming by. Am I missing him? Yes. Sorry, Greg. No, don't do the clap. Unless you start in recording again. Yeah, you start. You'll have to do the clap again. I tell you what, I'll delete everything that we've done so far.
Sloppy.
What's 8 years between friends?
Fucking disastrous. Sloppy. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, there's a few in there. Oh boy. Alright, let's look at this massive list.
It's a bit, isn't it? Ken also had a slightly larger. You can download. You can upload. Your sound has gone funny. It's like echoing a bit.
Sloppy.